Hello, it's Mr. Long again for the tip of the week this week. We're going to talk about winterizing your car. You can see it's sweater weather out. It's getting colder in the evenings. A little bit colder throughout the day too. First day of October is on Saturday. So it's usually when the weather really starts to change. Sometimes in November, December before you get snowfalls, but frost and colder weather can be difficult on your car sometimes. So there are certain things you want to check on your vehicle. Tires, for one, check the treads are good, and check the air pressure in the tires, because as it gets colder outside, sometimes that tends to have the tires leak a little bit of air, just a little bit, and they need pumped back up. Another thing is washer fluid and the wipers. As we start to get frost and snow, make sure your wipers are working well, and certain washer fluids do not have anti-freezing properties. So you want to make sure that you have washer fluid that is rated at usually negative 20 degrees or something like that, because of the traveling down the highway. Your washer fluid can actually freeze. There's some washer fluids that is designed to remove bugs in the spring, and that's great spring and summer, but then come fall and winter, it'll actually freeze on the windshield. I don't think it'll freeze inside the tank. The other thing you want to check is your battery. Again, the cold can zap the life out of a battery, so sometimes the battery needs replaced, and it's usually in the fall and in the winter that most people have to replace their battery, because the cold really draws more out of it. The next thing is to get together a winter safety kit. It can be a duffel bag, a backpack, just a random bag at all. If you have an extra bag, put some of these things together in that winter safety kit that'll go in the trunk of your car or the back seat of your car. And the first one, this is one that I use a lot out of that, is water and food, because a lot of times we'll be away somewhere and my kids will be hungry or thirsty and they forgot to grab their water bottle. So I have an extra one in the car. Make sure if it's food that's non-perishable, like granola bars, snacks, chips, things like that, that'll last several months. You don't want to put an apple or a banana in there. It's going to rot within a week or so, and you're probably not going to need it. The next is a flashlight with extra batteries, matches, and a candle. That might seem a little strange, but there are some stories where people have been stranded in a winter storm in their car. They ran off the road, their car got stuck, and they survived from the cold just by having a candle to create a little bit of heat is all it took. So matches then to light that too. And in a rare instance, maybe to make an emergency fire outdoors, obviously not inside the vehicle. Make sure you have your ice scraper in. So again, frost kind of creeps up on you. It's like, I didn't have my ice scraper in the car. So make sure you get that in there. The next one is one that I use a lot too, blanket and extra clothes. So a jacket or a vest, hat, gloves, and for whoever's in the vehicle. So for me, I actually have an extra set for everyone in my family. And I got most of them like at the Dollar Tree, just cheap little stretchy gloves, and the hats, they're $1. So just to have those. I've used those several times too, because we've taken the kids' friends somewhere and they weren't fully dressed. They didn't have, was at a soccer game, and we got there and it was snowing. And when we left the house, it was probably like 50 degrees. So they weren't prepared for that night. Luckily, I had extra gloves and hats that they could wear. The next is a first aid kit. It can be a very simple, small first aid kit. Doesn't have to be anything elaborate. You can pick those up at the Dollar Tree too. Just the biggest thing is Band-Aids. It's usually the biggest thing needed. An emergency blanket sometimes is good to have with that first aid kit. They're usually a Mylar. They're like this big and real super thin. So you can pick those up too, pretty cheap. Make sure you have jumper cables. Again, as I mentioned, the cold can zap the battery. So make sure you have jumper cables to jump and know how to use them too. If you don't, usually the person who's helping you jump should know. If not, look it up. You can Google it, how to do it. The correct process is really important, because if not, you can cause harm to yourself. Next is a small toolbox, and maybe even not so much a toolbox, just a multi-tool. Multi-tools are good that have all the different screwdrivers, fittings on them, and not a Swiss Army knife, but kind of like that, where they have parts that can fold out, that have the Phillips and the straight, and there's usually a little type of pliers or something in there. So a multi-tool would be good if not a small toolbox. And then the last two items to have, I should say, would be a small shovel in case you happen to get stuck in the snow. You can dig yourself out, and sand, gravel, or kitty litter. So just a small bag or small container of those things can really help if you're stuck on ice, because it just creates a little bit of grit that your tires can grip and get you out of that icy spot, if that's all that it is. Right? So take those tips into consideration if you have a vehicle. Parents have a vehicle, make sure that stuff's in there. It's coming up on us here quickly, that we'll have some colder weather and ice and snow and sleet, and hopefully we all stay safe through that. I think next week's tip of the week is going to be on how to stay warm on a power outage. I'm sure there's going to be some places down in Florida right now with the hurricane who are going to be experiencing that. And with the temperatures in the 50s at night, it can get a little chilly. All right, so everybody have a great day. See you later.